Assalamualaikum and very good evening. I bid to Dr. Jackie and my fellow friends. My name is Nurul Ain Shafiqah and my supervisor is Dr. Rasma. Today I would like to present my proposal report entitled The Effects of Working from Home on Employee Performance During COVID-19 in Malaysia. This is the overview of this presentation, which starts with the introduction, followed by the literature review, and last one is the methodology. So on 11 March 2020, the World Health Organization announced that COVID-19 was a global pandemic that suggested a major global outbreak of infectious diseases. Absolute or partial locking steps to deter this COVID-19 transmissions among the people have triggered a broad and massive disruption in the domestic and also in the foreign supply chains, goods and services. According to Fuad in his research paper, stated that the adverse consequences of the lockdown policies have contributed to the closing of businesses, regardless of scale and industries. He also stated that, as a result of this closure, a large number of workers have been unemployed and have lost their income. According to the International Labour Organization, about 94% are employed in countries with workplace closure, and according to a survey from Brain Jobson, 35.2% workers have switched to working from home. In Malaysia, about 33.5% workers are working from home in the first half of 2020, according to the Department of Statistics Malaysia. Besides that, according to the report from the United Nations Development Programme in 2020 stated that MCO imposed in Malaysia because of this COVID-19 has created an extraordinary situation in which a third of Malaysians in the private sector was forced to work from home, and 44% of employers which responded from the local enterprise has experienced with work from home arrangement because of this MCO by the government. According to Emmett and Karen, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, individuals from certain occupational classes with very little experience of working from home have been moved to such arrangement, and individuals around professions who choose not to work from home have now been pushed into such work arrangement. Society of Human Resource Management and Zaitner stated that working from home is a new norm that has and still been practiced nowadays, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic era. And Avery and Sabel, according to them, this working from home trend was touted in the 1980s and 1990s as a cost-effective alternative to improve the job efficiency by enhancing the employee's work-life balance. Working from home is sure to have a greater role to play in employees' life. At its greatest, working from home supports the employees and also the organization. Staying linked and optimistic, employees can function productively while maintaining a rewarding home life without the burden of a regulatory role. However, according to Hashim, there are still obstacles. Managers or organizations may be worried as to whether home employees are currently hired. In the meantime, several remote workers will feel lonely, detached from the dynamic team, and suffer from depression and anxiety. As stated in the COVID-19 biopsychosocial perspective book, work from home can also lead to a loss of information and notifications regularly, and a feeling of being left out of priority in office matter may lead to a sense of alienation. Other than that, when working from home, one is also prone to disruption factors such as noisy atmosphere, constant ringing of TV and doorbells, which lead to a decrease in focus, which may impair the productivity. Moreover, Vanderlip and Lipani stated that individual employees work better when their colleagues or co-workers do not work from home. The result of the research indicates that it is important to take into account how employees affect each other and how they use each other's experience and expertise, since these factors have ramifications for success at the individual performance. And eloquently stated in Cont 2015, one of the main issues in working from home is that the organization can lose control of its employees. Working from home also includes trustworthiness and the need for the employees to be self-disciplined in completing the assigned tasks. From this, we can indicate that working from home provides many pitfalls if the employees apply this working from home method. This, there are three gaps in this present study, which the first gap is most previous studies that seek to investigate the effect of working from home on employee performance are focusing on teleworking industries, which their working environment does not require in teamwork and team performance. Second gap is research on working from home in Malaysia are more focusing on analyzing the perception of working from home and not the antecedents and the consequences of working from home. The last one, this present study will study the relationship with three theories which have not been widely used or implemented in existing journals in Malaysia, particularly during this COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, it is important to further study about how working from home could affect the employee performance during this COVID-19 pandemic. This is the research objective and the research question for this. The objective of this research study is to examine the effect of individual employee working from home, the effect of co-workers of the individual employee working from home, the effect of top management of the individual employee working from home on employee performance during COVID-19 pandemic. And the and this paper is research question for this paper is: does individual employee working from home, co-workers of the individual employee working from home, and top management of the individual employee working from home could affect the employee performance during this COVID-19 pandemic? The practical of this study is to examine if there is an effect to individual employee performance if not only the individual employee itself working from home, but also their co-workers and their top management. And from this study, it can help the employers to identify what is the requirement needed in order to help increase the individual employee performance during this COVID-19 pandemic. This research explains the relationship between individual employee working from home and individual employee performance with Maslow theory of needs. Moreover, this research also explains the relationship between how co-workers of individual employee working from home could affect the individual employee performance with Maslow theory. Lastly, the theory of organizational support were used in this study in explaining why top management working from home could affect the individual employee performance. Terms that will be used in this present study is working from home, which there are many definitions of working from home according to Falstead and Jusen, but a simple definition of working from home according to Sayers is defined as a working day spent in the home environment, while employee performance is the outcome of work linked to this organization's success and loss. These are the theories that will be used in explaining the relationship between the independent variables and dependent variables. According to the COVID-19 Biopsychosocial Perspective book, working from home can lead to communication and isolation problems, increased distractions, and decreased motivation and competitive spirit. Gard stated that employees who work from home will feel professional isolation. Professionally isolated are less likely to be secure of their expertise and abilities, which may position them at a distinct disadvantage in the success of their careers. Golden also stated that they are less able to successfully handle interpersonal relationship and communication with others in order to organize the complicated and ambiguous activities and increase the degree of awareness gained from sharing and enhancing the tacit information. The negative aspect of this arrangement of working from home could outweigh the positive aspect that an individual employee could gain when applying this working from home, which lead to our first hypothesis of the study, which is there is a negative relationship between individual employee working from home and employee performance. Second hypothesis is, according to Coco, mostly mentioned disadvantage of working from home that have been mentioned by the respondent from Malaysian corporate workers is less team cohesiveness and less socializing. According to Gar, as the number of employees working from home increase, the remaining office personnel are more likely to face constraints when managing assignments and work schedules, not to mention sustaining and establishing the co-worker relationship, which would be a growing challenge. More stress is going to be faced by office employees when they have to cover co-workers that are working from home. This might lead to inequity and MB2, which lead to our second hypothesis, there is a negative relationship between co-workers of individual employee work from home on employee performance. Lastly, according to Morgana, the effectiveness and efficacy of working from home cannot be distinguished from the monitoring and assessment carried out by the employee's representative during this COVID-19 pandemic. According to Coco, top management that working from home will lead to lose control over their employees and working from home and reducing face-to-face contact and interaction. Thus, with less and fewer feedback from the executive of top management, has the potential to have a negative effect on the consistency of the top management-subordinate relationship, which conclude that there is a negative relationship between top management of the individual employee working from home and employee performance. This is the conceptual framework of this study. This the methodology for this study is we are using the quantitative research method where the online questionnaire form will be distributed to 100 individual employees that are working from home during this COVID-19 pandemic in Klang Valley, Malaysia, which the time estimated in March 2021 in 4 weeks. For measurement, we are using the 5-point Likert scale to measure the dependent variable by adapting the questionnaire from Holtzman and DeRosset. We are going to u- we are going to use 4 tests, which include the reliability test, descriptive test, normality test, multiple regression test by using the SPSS software to analyze the data. That's all from me. Thank you.